Hello, hello. I'm Strider, your host here at Author in the Headlights, and I want to thank you for joining us. And as always, those of you who have not yet, if you'll hit that subscribe button down in the corner, you won't miss a single one of our episodes. This morning, we have David A. Stone. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Strider. Great to be here with you. Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah, and you are up here in the same end of the world I am, which is an interesting thing.
Yes, we reside in the absolutely breathtaking Pacific Northwest, and we're crossing our fingers that maybe spring will arrive and we won't have to finish the arc.
It's getting closer. It really is.
Yeah, and the
Now,
daffodils are up.
daffodils are up, and that's the first thing that pokes out of the ground around here. You
Yeah,
bet. Now, you've had a different kind of life getting to where you are now as an author.
yeah,
You or anybody that knows you in the past probably knows you as the marketing guru and architect, entrepreneur, and that kind of things. And now you have totally changed. You have gone into romance as a, okay, aged like I am,
hmm
male in the romance field. How is
yeah.
that working?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I figured I hit 70 and finally figured out what I want to be when I grow up. Or maybe I've figured it out. I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, I had a long career. I started life as an architect, as you said, discovered relatively early that I was entirely adequate as an architect. But I fell in love with marketing. And so spent a lot of my career as a marketing consultant to other architects, to engineers, people in the design and construction field. And I've worked all over this country and literally circled the globe doing that work and absolutely loved it. And what was interesting is I mean, marketing is all about communication. And one of the things that I always told my clients is it's what we're trying to do is the art of taking an idea that's inside your head and successfully transferring it to somebody else's head so that they see what you see or understand what you understand. And I finished up that career and thought, okay, this that was fun. What do I want to be when I grow up? And my wife is a very accomplished, award-winning novelist. She writes mystery, and I thought, oh, that looks like fun. And a couple of years ago, she was participating in NaNoWriMo. I don't know if you're
Hmm.
familiar with that. Okay,
Absolutely.
for those who aren't familiar, NaNoWriMo stands for the National Novel Writing Month, and it's the month of November. And the challenge is to write a novel in 30 days, right? And I did it, and I finished, and I thought, gosh, that was a lot of fun. And what I wrote turned out to be the first book in what is now a series, the Spruce Harbor series, which is romance. But why did I pick romance? I mean, I see a lot of guy writers, and they're writing, military science fiction or
Hmm.
mysteries or whatever. But I have always been an incurable romantic. And I also feel strongly, to get serious for a moment, that love is one of those sort of essential nutrients that we all need in our life. And, we need air to breathe, and we need water to drink, and we need food to eat, and good food, and all the rest of it. I believe that we can't survive without love either. And so I thought, well, what a great entree. And so I just really enjoyed writing about love. And my novels are sweet, wholesome romance, small town romance. And Spruce Harbor is a kind of a stand-in for where you and I live here in the Pacific Northwest. It's a little bit of Bellingham, it's a little bit of Fairhaven, it's a little bit of Anacortes, it's a little bit of a lot of these small towns that are around here. But I just loved writing the characters and watching them fall in love and watching them navigate love when they've come from places that had been painful for them. And so I kind of like romance novels as a set of instructions for the rest of us who really want. want love in our lives.
Works. Now, Spruce Harbor, that is the name of your series, and it started
Yeah,
out with Beginnings, which was the novella basically that you wrote
correct.
in that startup, and then Possibilities,
Hmm.
Spruce Harbor Decisions, and Spruce Harbor Promises, which is coming out when?
Within the next couple of months, he said optimistically.
Okay, well, I'll race you there because my book, my third one here in the series behind me, The Adventures of Ronan Stone,
Hmm.
Recalled is coming out, and I was just doing a final polish up here, so it's coming out soon too. So we'll
Oh,
see who
good.
gets that out first.
Well, we'll trade and we'll read each other's books.
There you go. I like that. Now, you were a big marketing guru thing in the field of architecture and entrepreneuring, things like
Hmm.
that.
Yeah.
And you have a series or two. Well, you've got kind of two other things going. You've got the Marketing Wisdom series, which is like a 6 book
Hmm.
mini set. Um, Nothing happens till somebody sells something. That's the title of several of those, one, two, and three. I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Well, one of the things we experienced in the education process was it was the biggest lie anybody ever told me. They said, don't worry about all that selling stuff, just do your work well enough, and all the rest of it takes care of itself. And it was the largest lie I was ever told. But I found that little catchphrase, nothing happens till somebody sells something, to be entertaining because they all thought, oh, it's all about, how to build that bridge, or it's all about how to design that building or whatever. No, it's not. I mean, you got to do that later. But
Yeah.
first, nobody's going to pay you to do that until you've managed to sell. And as I said to you when we got started, it's about taking an idea that's inside your head and successfully communicating it to somebody else. And when you're writing your books and your series, you've got an idea in your head about this story and about these characters. Well, as long as it's just in your head or my head, then nobody else gets to enjoy it. And the art of
Yeah.
writing and the art of being an author is getting those ideas, those characters, those settings out of your own head onto the page so that somebody else reading it says, "Oh, I like this character. Oh, I hate his guts," or "Oh, I'd love to spend time in that town."
Mhm.
And of course, it's all purely your imagination, but that's what we as authors do is get ideas that are in our heads and get them out there and onto a page so that somebody else can also understand it and enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely. Every author is very aware of that term. Nothing happens till somebody sells something. You write a book, you've got this great idea, you put it out there, and if you don't publish it, it goes
Hmm.
nowhere but your desktop.
That's
Even
right.
then, you have to market it, or
Hmm.
it doesn't get anywhere but your desktop or a picture on the computer somewhere.
Yeah.
I knew that early also because I also was a designer, though I didn't become an architect,
Hmm.
design houses, and the only way they got built is if I built them. So I became a contractor to build the houses that I designed. As an author, you write the books, you put them out there, and then you have to market them yourself. Same kind of
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
So it's
And
all
you
a
have to
process.
in the marketing, one of the things I found is you have to convey your enthusiasm. And whether it's for a house you've built or whether it's a building you've designed or a book you've written, if you're not able to convey your love for it or your enthusiasm for it, nobody else is going to get excited about it either.
So
So
how did you get to the other work? Then your other little bit, 2 books, is the I Fearless series.
that's an interesting one too. So many of us are driven by fear and driven by our guilt and our shame and our
Yep.
and our nervousness about all the terrible things that have happened are going to continue to happen. And I realized that fear is one of the big obstacles in all our lives. And you'll notice in my readers find in my romance books that a lot of the obstacles that our characters come across and then overcome are similar to the ones that I worked at and had to overcome and I've written about in
We
that
tend to be the
series.
same. Yeah.
And they tend to be exactly the same, yeah. And so I wrote the first book, which is called Unsubscribed from Anxiety. And it walks through a process of removing fear and anxiety from yourself. The second book,
Fearless decisions.
Fearless Decision, Fearless Decision. Yeah, thank you. I'm getting old and it's all disappearing. It's like a sieve in there. And anyway, I realized that, anxiety and fear are choices that we make, as are the same as letting go of them. And so I wrote the Fearless Decision is kind of a collection of blog posts that I had done as well that are all about that. And I really had a good time. And then I finished those two books and said, okay, there, I've done it. And I realized that it was more for my own sake that I went through that process and wrote those books than it was for, collecting an audience or a readership. And then it was after that that I said, okay, I want to write stuff that people will read, but I also want to incorporate a lot of these ideas. What you'll find in the books that I write is there's the characters are essentially optimistic people, and they realize they believe that the world is essentially a good place. And yes, there are obstacles to overcome, but it is possible to overcome them. It is possible to have love in your life. Every one of us can have that. I mean, just to have love in your life. I at 60 years of age, I married my childhood sweetheart or my high school sweetheart, and we're living our happily ever after now, and it's just wonderful.
Here,
So
here.
yeah, everybody
Here,
can
here.
have it.
Oh gosh, actually, that's a great way to end right there. I mean, you can't look forward to more than a great love
Yeah,
and a great life to put it together with. And when you self-review, you work at bettering yourself. And that's what it takes to get through life well.
that's exactly right.
Now, I hear that you are going to be at the Chanticleer Authors Conference in a couple of weeks.
I am. I'm very much looking forward to that and looking
And
forward to learning as much as I can because we're always, one of my wife's favorite sayings is you should always be a beginner at something and you should always be a student. So I'm looking forward to learning as much as I can, meeting yourself because we'll meet in person for the first time there and meeting other authors and building that network. I'm very excited about that.
we will. I will be there. So I'll see you there in person in a
Hmm.
couple of weeks. And for those of you not, it's the Chanticleer's Author Conference in Bellingham, Washington. You can also look them up online. Um, and for us, your books will be on DurhamingPublishing.com's bookstore page. People
Mm.
can find them there. I can tell you're a good marketer because you've got the energy to push it forward, which also shows in your life. All right. And for the rest of you, thank you for sharing your time with us this morning. And until next time, I'm Strider, your host here at Author in the Headlights, sponsored by DurhamandPublishing.com. Thanks.